If you own more than one house, even to involve yourself with the capitalism ownership system of land and buildings that are currently in place, you directly create unwilling homelessness. Interest rates and return on capitalism banking principles causes houses to be unaffordable by the lowest earning members of society. Well, the lowest members of society are not really members because they did not choose to join necessarily, but rather they are forced to join from a principle that is in place before them, enforced by police and banks and governments before them, that creates and limits the very access to peace and self-nourishment that they would need to survive. How can a homeless person enter the system today? There is no public land anymore where one can go without being arrested for trespassing. How are you going to get a job in this current technological world without having a cell phone to communicate, an internet to communicate and look for jobs, a computer? You need to have a bath and be clean, smell pleasant, and be groomed. How are you going to achieve this when you spent the night sleeping in a ditch or your car without access to these now required elements? A vertical approach to reclaiming the now unwilling homeless is what is required. They are worth it. As I have said before, they are my people. They will be traumatized already and may find it difficult to function for a few months. They will have dental and medical issues by now that will have to be addressed first. What is it they would like to do? What is it they could do? This is why it will take a year to reclaim a single person so traumatized and become of this homeless culture. Apply the principles of sharing to all of humankind and see if you can improve the life of one person. One person's life is individual. They will have unique elements and traits and gifts. You will have an eternal friend even beyond this earth for such deep commitments. Such are all true spiritual connections made by the loving service of one for another. In this way, you reach God of essence, but that is not of one's immediate concern for most people at this time. There is a debt to the animal kingdoms of this world and to the animals. They have provided for humankind since before the beginning of mankind. Zoos in this Western world are an abomination. Humankind owes it to the species and to the individual animals currently in zoos to set them free for the most part. The sides of the roads are littered with the bones of animals who have died due to man's progression. The animals are more sentient than you know. It is also time to bury the bones and the hair of the saints and all people, not to be kept. One can keep articles and things of people, but not their actual body parts. All body parts need to be interned into the ground. The spirits of these people who have lived have already gone on, and they need not to have an attachment through their skeletons, etc., which is macabrely done in this world. Anyone with a name needs to have their body returned. There have been secret organizations who exist for themselves only, and that is not good for the rest of humanity. All groups of people, such as currently the Kurds and the Palestinians, need their own place and space and land if they want to live on their own and among themselves. In order for the rich people to do nothing, the poor must work double. And so the poor person's life is feudally taken, close to a slave, and imprisonment is done within principality, principle, and power. Such is, and will no longer be tolerated. Repercussions will be permanently upon all that have knowingly taken part in such disparaging harm to the kind human or sentient being. It is not necessarily of myself, for everyone writes in their own forehead by their own hand, and it cannot be denied. You cannot fake the truth, even unto oneself, once this life is left.